Welcome back to Andertons TV.
Greetings.
I'm starting to forget what you even look like without a blindfold on, Mr. Chapman.
Probably for the better.
So, we have tested Rob's ears with pickups. We've tested Rob's ears with types of guitars. Now we are going to test his pedal knowledge. If you want to play along with this, it's probably too late now because you've seen what's on the table, but if you want to play along with this, you need to not watch this video, you just need to listen. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start switching in and out 7 of the most iconic guitar pedals of all time. So into a clean amplifier, you can see what 7 are on the table here, or if you aren't watching, if you're playing along, good for you. I'm just going to go through them like this. They're all kind of set to give an iconic kind of tone, but Rob is welcome to ask me to adjust any kind of, gain, level, EQ, whatever. I'm not going to tell him what the knobs are that are on the pedals because that might give something away.
So I just say brighter or more gain or less gain?
100%. And of course, if we reach a point where there is no more gain, I will tell you that is maximum. Now, I was going to just tell Rob the 7 types of pedal and then him sort of go, right, I think that one's this or that one's that. But yeah, he said no. He said, I don't want to know. So he has no idea what we've chosen here. But again, other than the fact these are all universally recognized as like iconic.
I have one question of many question. If I tell you, I think it's, for example, a Tube Screamer has many offspring of different colors. If I get it's a Tube Screamer type, does that mean that I win that particular round?
Yes, it does. And just to be what we've tried to do, and I think we've sort of successfully done in every category except this one that I'm pointing at the moment, which obviously you will see on screen, but Rob won't see. We have actually got the official one. So we've tried to avoid clones of pedals, and we've tried to use the official one.
So if it sounds like a Tube Screamer, it's an actual Tube Screamer.
Correct.
Oh God.
I mean, obviously there are variants of the actual Tube Screamer, so it'll be one of those.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I don't want to try and give anything too much away here, but what we've tried to again is go. It's the classic version of each of these.
Right.
Right. So can I hear what your clean sound sounds like, Mr. Rob?
Certainly.
Cool. Now, again, some of these pedals might be used to drive a slightly more driven amplifier, so I don't know if that makes this a harder challenge or not, but hey, that's what we're doing, right? I'm using this here Quartermaster to switch them in and out, so again, don't pay attention to which pedal is on, pay attention to which light is lit up on the Quartermaster. So are you ready, Mr. Chapman, for pedal number 1?
I was born a variety of ready. Oh, you went subtle. Could you add a little bit more ganache?
Yeah, I've got, that was about 2/3 of the way up. So I've got, do you just want to go all of it? Or just a little bit more?
No, a little bit more is fine.
That's juicy.
It's really, really nice. Can you put it all in?
Okay, we're going all in, and just so you know, the tone and the tone settings, the tone settings and the output are about halfway up. But here's all the gain.
Okay. sounds a lot like a pedal that I have by Bad Cat. I've got, oh God, John's going to kill me. I can't remember what it's called, but it's this dual pedal.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
What's it called?
It's just called the Bad Cat Drive, isn't it? I think. I don't think it's called anything.
It's
like a light bluey greeny kind of.
Yeah,
colour.
it's like a clon either side that you stack. So I think, I don't think you'd have a. You have got a clon. I think it's a clon.
You think it's a clon?
Yeah.
He thinks it's a clon.
Well,
now,
my other thought was it was a Mythos. But I know Mythos, the one that I like, was also a version of a clon.
well, again, just to be clear, if we wanted a clon on here, we wouldn't go, and we do own a clon, you're right, so we wouldn't have used a clone of a clon.
I've never played a real clon
You've
before.
Never played a real clon?
No, I've only, well, I might have plugged in once, but I've only ever played copies of clones.
Yeah.
So
All right, well, what do you think this is then? You think it's a clon?
I think it's a clon.
You think it's a clon. And again, I know you probably did talk a little bit about this Bad Cat thing. I didn't realise that Bad Cat was supposed to be a clone, by the way. But
It's two that you stack.
What is it about the characteristics of the pedal that make you think it's cloning?
It doesn't get muddy at all. The highs are really preserved. It's got that kind of bright, sort of really harmonic structure on the high end of the spectrum, and it's crisp all the way through everything. Like if you listen to this, like a tube screamer doesn't give you that kind of bright, crisp harmonic structure. It gives you a little bit of fuzz.
Got it.
In and amongst that. So I think it's clonny.
All right. Wouldn't it be amazing if it was a tube screamer after that? But there we are.
That-
I'm switching that one off, and we're going now to pedal number 2. Write down what you thought it was if you're playing along, and we'll find out at the end. So you ready for pedal number 2? You've got to turn probably
Yeah.
slightly to your left. Right, sorry.
right.
Follow Taylor's voice.
Hello, hello.
Is that better?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Pedal number 2. Again, where have we gone? Everything's pretty much halfway up here with the gain about, again, 2/3.
Oh my god. What a stark change. Metal Zone.
It didn't take you long to decide on that one. What do you think, what are the characteristics of that? Other than how it sounds.
Neuro-linguistically, I can now tell that it is a metal zone from your utterances. It's because it sounds like
So
the way
bad.
somebody who doesn't know a metal zone sets one.
Okay.
And what I do with my metal zone, if it's you might have an original one, but if it's the new Wadzercraft metal zone, is I put it on the custom setting and I back off the gain, and you don't get that nasally honk, because this has got that honk that you get on the original one when you put too much gain in.
Well,
it
wouldn't be the first time.
Wadzercraft,
It wouldn't
put
be
it on
the
the
first
custom
time I've been
setting.
accused of not knowing how to set up a metal sound. I can't obviously confirm whether it is or it isn't, but where would you have the distortion if
So
it was?
if it's the Wadzercraft, I put it on the custom setting,
Yeah.
I back off the gain.
To what
and
level?
And just put everything in the middle.
Really? So the gain where, like a quarter or what?
Half the gain, everything in the middle, and put it on the custom setting.
Everything in the middle,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what it is, baby.
Hang on, I'm just communicating with Taylor using hang on.
Did you just write a rude word about me?
No, it's fine. I don't have time to make it into a paper aeroplane today, so I'm communicating differently. What are you saying?
Metal Zone.
Is he right? Is he wrong, ladies and gentlemen? And again, and you think so because, again, it's just the characteristic of the pedal, or?
Because I have had metal zones for about, oh God, a long 25 years, maybe
Right.
30 years. I'm old. 30 years I've had metal zones, and I've gone through setting them up in the way that was originally set up, where you get that, because it's got the weird mid thing. It's so sensitive, and you get that kind of honky, kind of weird, scoopy honky sound that doesn't sit until you work out how to set it, and it takes a long time.
All right. Well, look, you may or may not be right.
I would stake my entire career on
If there was going to be one, well, there's probably one or two pedals in this mix that are probably hyper characteristically more obvious. We'll keep going. There it is. There it is. Look at that. Ready for pedal number 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, again. Oh, hang on. Here it is. Reply coming straight in. Oh, gosh. Why is... Okay, got it. No problem at all.
Reply?
It's all right. I'll
What's
leave you to
going
guess
on?
whether it was Pete or Taylor that handed
my
me
God.
this pedal.
Okay.
So, pedal number 3.
Could you turn up the gainy structure of whatever it is, please?
Do you want me to... I mean, it's quite dark, isn't it? Do you want to make it brighter as well, or...?
No, it's not that dark. I
Okay.
like it, but I
All right,
don't...
I'm going now. So we've got like volume and tone at like 1 o'clock. I'm going to take the gain up to maybe 4 o'clock. More volume. Here it comes.
I'm stumped.
Ooh.
And I'm not normally this stumped, but I tell you, I really like it. But it's something between a kind of a fuzzy, traditional germanium fuzz, but it's super smooth, and it's a little bit more screamery. It's like an in-between, but I don't know of anything that sits in between. That's better, yeah.
Do you know what? I have to say, I think you have absolutely described what this...
No, it's serious.
I think you've absolutely described what this pedal is. I'm going to try and play, and I'm going to try and find the setting on this that I think is most iconic this pedal. So just play a minute. Oh, let's turn it on.
Sorry. Wait a minute. It's giving Clapton. It's giving Cream. Is it like what the hell did Clapton, was it a Mayer fuzz he used or something, or what was it that Clapton used? Can I ask you questions? Am I allowed to?
That's a great question. I mean, are you talking Cream era Clapton?
Yeah.
Are you? Then it had to have been fuzz faces and things like that, and tone benders.
It's not a fuzz. It could be a tone bender.
I think this pedal sounds more iconic with chords, like power chords, but you know.
Man, I just don't know what this is.
So we don't know. If you get stumped on a few more, maybe
Yeah.
I will go back to what I said right at the beginning and actually tell you what the pedal types are and give you a chance to sort of, and
Redeem myself.
Yes, but anyway, okay. So at the moment, pedal number 3 is I don't know. What about you guys out there?
I don't think I've ever owned
the classic. Yeah.
Do you know what? The only thing it
Maestro
reminds me
don't
of.
know pedal.
The only thing it reminds me of is oh god, a fuzzy pedal called the Claw or something.
Thunderclaw, Mr. Black Thunderclaw.
It reminded me a little bit of that, but it's not a Thunderclaw, but it had that vibe.
All right. Well, pedal number 4, incoming. Here we go.
Isn't that? More gain, Freeman.
Okay, now this is probably the least gainy pedal that we've got. So this is maximum gain. Good sounds.
I know what it is, but I don't. I've used this on a recording.
There are countless clones of this as well, so you
damn.
almost certainly have tried this in some form. There's countless clones of all these, to be
Yeah.
fair.
This is so hard. This is way harder than I thought it was going to be.
I feel like I want to help you, but I don't know how much I can help you. But I'm just going to literally just think that was on its maximum overdrive setting, and it's obviously not humongously overdriven. So think pedals that are in that sort of ballpark. See if that helps. That's all I can help you with.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help. It's all I'm thinking of is like the old. I don't think you'd ever have these, but like, do you remember Marshall did those pedals that everyone had for ages? I can't even remember what they were called. Something like that. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever owned one of these. I think I've used one on the recording and I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry, again, I don't know. I'm really bad at this one.
That's all right.
This might be my worst blindfold challenge ever.
I find it fascinating that, and that you can hear and name a pickup from a shootout of 6 or 7 pickups that all to me sound identical.
Yeah.
And yet we can take 7 pedals that all sound characteristically quite different.
Yeah.
But I just think it just goes to show if you've obviously spent your life probably playing guitars into amplifiers more than maybe pedals.
I don't really use a lot of pedals.
See?
And I only ever use the same set of pedals and have done for like 20 years.
Really, we
Yeah.
need Mick and Dan. There you go, there's the challenge. Mick and Dan, I'll blindfold you. Put your money where your mouth is. Can that pedal show tell what a pedal is when they're blindfolded? Anyway, we're going on to pedal number 5 now, Mr. Rob. You might want to turn slightly more towards me.
Okay.
Beautiful, here we go.
But I mean, yeah, give me more gain. That's just a tube screamer.
I'm giving you...
Give it all to the game.
I'm giving you everything it's got, Captain.
That's a tube screamer.
And what is it about that then that you feel characteristically makes you lean that way?
I've played a Tube Screamer for 30 years, so I'm very familiar. Could you turn almost all of the gain off and then just give me a bit more level?
There you are. That's the. If this was a Tube Screamer, this would be the classic into a driven amplifier tone. You know.
And then turn it off. That's a Tube Screamer.
Oh,
that's how I use it.
Confident man there.
Super duper familiar with that pedal.
Well, if it is, you know, fair play. If it isn't, what do we know? That's it. Didn't need long on number 5, did we? So we're feeling like number 2 and number 5 were like instant. But here we go. Number 6.
A little bit more grenade. It's really, really nice. Oh, it's great sounding. It really is great.
Grunt.
I almost feel like it's a Boss pedal, but in which case it would have to be one of the ones I use as a preamp, like the Blues Driver kind of vibe. But it's got a lot more guts than a Blues Driver, so it's a preampy overdrive.
I can mess with the EQ if that helps, and we're up to about 3/4 of the game, so we could go more.
It doesn't need. I mean, it sounds
need more, does it?
Great.
Yeah.
I'm stumped. I think it's a Boss pedal, and I think it might be the orange,
DS1.
DS1 kind of that. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely. I think of when I've used all these pedals, it's one of those go-to pedals that into a clean amp works well.
Oh, you use this pedal?
I have absolutely had. I think I've had at least 4 of these pedals on my board at different times.
Oh God, it's not a Boss.
I must have had a Boss pedal on my board at some point.
You don't use a DS1, do you? I'm going to say I think it's like a Boss DS1, but
okay.
I don't.
All right, that's no problem at all. Okay,
I don't know.
There's 2 more pedals. We've gone from 7 to 8 halfway through this video because I felt like this was important.
The ante.
Ready for the penultimate pedal?
Give it more fuzz. That's Big Muff.
That was fast as well, and you were sort of. I mean, when you've gone super fast to an answer, it's because you've had the pedals, or you thought you've had the pedals.
Yeah.
So, what's your Big Muff story, if indeed this is one of them?
Obsessed with Siamese Dream and Gish from Smashing Pumpkins, and they used a Big Muff with a couple of other pedals chained to create that fuzzy driven tone. And I found that out, so I went and bought a Big Muff. Had the original ridiculously sized, half a car worth of pedal, and used that for ages until I exhausted myself with it. And I'm so familiar with the sort of violin. Put it back on again. Like, it's even without playing it, this. That's a Big Muff. Big Muff.
Fair enough. Okay, right. Our last pedal is an absolute classic, albeit the one we've got here. It's not the colour I was most familiar with, but there's a reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, which will appear on screen right now. But yes, other than that, it's the pedal I was hoping we would have. So are you ready?
Do it.
Mr. Chapman.
Turn left. I'm sorry.
Would you like, everything's on roughly halfway.
Could you please just crank the gain? God, I think that's a boss.
Look at me.
Is this?
That's fine.
Roughly
Sorry.
there, it's fine. Yes. I don't know why, but you're sort of drifting towards just looking at the wall.
Yeah, because when I'm playing, I'm just kind of ambiently, I'm on a rotating
That's
chair.
fine.
It's
so,
fun.
okay, so just so you know, the level now is at about 2 o'clock, tones is about 1 o'clock. All the drive. It's good sound as well.
Yeah, it's really good sound. I think it's a Boss SD1.
Well, okay, we've got to the end. I mean, again, for any reason, have you owned Boss SD1s?
I've had Boss pedals for absolutely
you are a bit of a Boss fan,
years.
aren't you? Now you're literally looking to the back wall.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I need one. Like on knobs, where you get that sort of, what do you call it?
A centre detente.
Yeah,
you
I need
one
a
on your
centre
stall,
detente,
don't you? It's a great
detente
shout.
the chappers.
Right, okay. Sorry, so you're just going, the reason is you think that's because you've owned one and you think that's what it sounds like.
It sounds like that, but what is the amp?
It's just a Victory V140. You know, the clean, like that's what it's just like, which you've probably...
I don't own a V140
Well,
and
again,
I never play through one.
All your amps are gain in the amplifier and then pedal on top of the gain.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, I totally get this is not super familiar for you. So you're maybe not hearing as much gain as you would historically.
I think it's a Boss overdrive pedal, like a preampy type thing, and I think that's an S super distortion. And then I don't know what the other three were. I'm sorry. I think viewers, I feel like I've failed you.
Well, so we have 8 answers now, and I got to be honest with you. Half of me doesn't think it's worth extending the challenge because you've got most of them right.
What? Really? What about the ones I didn't know what it was?
Okay, so let's go. Okay.
Can I unrobe?
No, not yet.
Oh.
So I'm going to tell you that, again, I'll try and do this in alphabetical order. This is sort of not really help me. You had a combination here of, you had a Big Muff, you had a Marshall Blues Breaker, you had a Metal Zone, you had a Nobles ODR1, you had a you had a Klon, you had a Rat, you had a Boss SD1. I think that's all of them, right? So I'm going to go through the pedal number 3. Now that I've told you what the 8 pedals
God,
are.
I did own a Rat.
Pedal number 3, you didn't know what it was. You just described it as somewhere between a fuzz and a screamer. You then went down this like it's giving me Clapton and Cream vibes. But do you want to hear that again, just to sort of decide?
So is that the Nobles?
I'm not telling you. I'm just
Okay.
saying that. I'm saying you've got 8 of all the. That was one of the ones you didn't know. So now you know what the 8 types are. Do you want to have a re-guess at that?
Oh God. The one that I said I've recorded with this and I don't know what it is. That I think had to be the Rat.
I think that was this one. So if you play now.
So I would guess now that that's the Rat because I'm familiar with it. I recorded lots of hooker with it, so I think that might be the Rat.
And what? Okay, so there's 2 other ones you didn't know. You had no idea. So what do you think this is?
That's probably the Marshall then, isn't it?
And what do you think this is?
The Nobles. I'm pulling this out of my ass now.
Do you know what? D-Robe, Mr. Chapman. D-Robe. And congratulations. Here we go, everybody. This is time. If you're still not watching, you can mark your scores. So number 1, you said it's a subtle drive. I think it's a Klon because it's not muddy, it's Heiser preserved, and it's crisp.
How much is that worth then?
Do you know what? I paid £4,000 for that. And today, one music store has launched
26 of them. Yeah, I saw it on Instagram.
So I don't know if that's going to tank the value of these or whether or not that day is going to do 100 grand's worth of Klon pedals in a day. But anyway, Klon.
So that's my first real time playing a Klon.
Bing! Number 2, you just went Metal Zone. Yeah, it was. You didn't even tell me why.
Because you had it set like that.
I had it set on standard mode with the gain up a bit higher and then we moved it anyway.
Yeah, never do
said
that.
Metal Zone. That's what it sounded like. Oh, the Wazza Metal Zone, obviously, we've got here. So number 3, I'm surprised really because you described this how I would describe a Rat, which is somewhere between a fuzz and an overdrive pedal or a fuzz and a distortion pedal. And yet you then went, that's the Marshall. So, okay.
Man.
Then, so basically you got these 2 the wrong way around. The 4th one was the Blues Breaker.
Right.
That was the one you said, I've definitely had one of these.
And I have had a Rat.
And that everyone had these at a time.
I had a Blues Breaker as well, but this is like 25 years ago.
And then you said Rat. So, okay. This number 5, you went Tube Screamer.
Yeah.
That's just a Tube Screamer. I've played a lot of Tube Screamer. It's just very familiar to me. So that is, and it's an 808. So I don't know if that's what you had or not. I wasn't surprised that you didn't get the ODR one. For me, it's become a classic pedal in the last 10 or 15 years.
It was really good.
Possibly not, it's probably more of a Nashville thing than the sort of thing you might go for. Is it a Boss pedal? Might be a Blues driver, but it's got more guts than a Blues driver. Maybe it's a DS1. Anyway, it was none of those things. It was a Nobles ODR. But you did, when I told you the things, by deduction, I think you just went, well, that's the only one I don't know, so it must be the Nobles. So I guess you get a point for that. Big Muff, 100%. You just went, it's a Big Muff. I'm a massive Smashing Pumpkins fan. And of course, we had the big one that.
Do you remember it used to come in a box, like a wooden box with the straw and stuff?
And then the pedal we didn't have at the beginning of the video, but I suddenly thought halfway through, we haven't got a Boss one, that's crazy. So of course, we got a Boss SD1. The funny colour is because it's just been redone in this sort of golden C3PO kind of colour for the 50th anniversary. But it's internally identical to the yellow one that you might buy.
You should have asked me what power supply we were using. I might have got that as well.
So yes, you got there. I mean, really, you got sort of
half of them right.
5 out of 8 with no help at all, and then you got the Nobles with a bit of help, and then you just got these the wrong way around. But hey, good scores, Mr. Chapman.
Thanks, man.
Good scores. What about you? Comment below if you were playing along. What did you get?
For me, the best sounding pedal here was the Klon, unfortunately.
and what I should say again, all right, so all of these are for sale, except for the Klon. You can buy, obviously, all of these. Klon, you've got to go onto eBay or Reverb.
So you're never going to sell that Klon?
This is the Klon that we're giving away when we get to 1 million subscribers.
To me?
Well, if you're the 1,000,000th subscriber, maybe. Or if you're one of the subscribers.
I'm unsubbing so I can resub.
If you're thinking that was if this was your favourite of the 8 pedals that we did, and we do a Klon shootout video, perhaps our editors will put the link in the video below, but the one that is the sort of constantly wins Klon shootouts that we do and is hyper affordable is the Wampler Tumnus.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds almost identical.
And the ODR one, that was what do you call it? What is it?
Nobles?
Nobles
Yeah.
is really nice.
Nobles, I used that for a long time because into a clean amplifier, it is a fat-driven sound that doesn't feel like it needs a bit of grunt
Yeah.
from the amp. I think, tube screamers, blues breakers,
But can
even
we,
clones.
Can we just redneckignize how... Put that one back on again.
If I must.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Now check this out. So, it's a really good pedal when
It
you
sounds
don't
awful in
do
its
crazy
standard
stuff.
mode, doesn't it? But maybe that's just me.
Get custom mode, man. All about the custom mode. This has
Alright.
been fun. This was the
good video.
hardest one I've ever done by far.
Yeah.
And again, I've learned things. The Nobles, for me, stands out. I need to get a Rat again, obviously. I'd forgotten all about the Blues Breaker.
I should say, of course, we didn't have a
Rat.
an original Proco Rat. Again, I don't know why. It doesn't matter how many I seem to order, or our team seems to order of the Proco Rat. Like a week later, they're all gone, and we're waiting for another 3 months for the next delivery. It's so popular.
Right.
But this is the JHS Pack Rat, which is part of that series of JHS pedals where they do one pedal, but with like 8 or 10 classic circuits of that. So we use the OG Rat setting.
And do you think
on
that
the
sounds
Pack Rat.
exactly like a Rat? So I'm not sure it does.
The problem is, the OG on this will be a copy of the original Rat.
Yeah.
And the current Proco Rat is not componently the same as
Because they can't get
original
germanium
Rat.
anymore.
Or they've elected not to, or it's too expensive, or whatever.
Lead.
So does it sound like a Rat or not? I mean, Josh Scott thinks it obviously does sound like an original Rat.
But how much do the vintage Rats run?
I don't know. I mean, that's probably why the modern Rat is so popular, because it obviously sounds similar. It's the same kind of essence of Rat, and the Proco Rat is they're a bit like Boss. It's like surprisingly cheap pedals. So I think why it sells so
When
well.
when Dorje supported Extreme, and I went
I'd say
backstage.
Nuno's a Rat guy, isn't
Yeah,
he?
I went backstage to see what Nuno was using, and he just had 2 Marshall heads, JVM 900s, I think it was, which I was quite surprised, and a Rat. That was it.
Yeah. He's probably one of the most famous Rat users, isn't he? But there we are.
Ratatouille.
Bosh! Thank you very much for
Bosh!
watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in another video soon.